Well, hey everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Monday, the 23rd day of August, 2021. I've done this once and I screwed up and said that it was 2020, so I got irritated and just deleted the whole thing. Even though the rest of it was good, I probably just could have redone the first part and hooked it together, but I just didn't. So anyway, I'm not going to change the cards though or the runes. I'm going to keep them as they are, and you'll see why here in a minute. I think that what did we talk about last week? Because I think we're still dealing with it. It was loss of something regarding our shared legacy, and it seemed to be. I guess it was the whole idea of something's coming. That maybe there's an uneasy truce, but there's a new creative force that I was interpreting as parents standing up against governors who don't want their kids, who don't care if their kids are safe at school or not. In fact, you've got some of them that are just saying no. If you require masks in schools, I'm going to remove your funding. So anyway, the challenge on last Monday was complacency. But if we're not complacent, then maybe we save our kids. So it's not just happening in Florida, it's happening in Texas and Arizona. It's happening other places where, for some reason, these nutty governors don't seem to comprehend that our children have to survive. They have believed the former guy's lies, and because that's all they were just lies. Um, whether it was because of a sadistic nature of him or because of this incredible greed that he lives within, the need for power and money and or maybe who he owes, you know, uh, for all the support he's had over the years. Who does he owe for that? It's not anybody in this country. It's elsewhere, and that's going to be known at some point. Just exactly who he was truly beholden to. It certainly wasn't to this country. So I think that what we're dealing with now, the struggle is in protecting the children, and from people who don't care about their survival, and they don't. I don't know what this is for these people. I think they're all parents. I think. I don't know why, Sturgis was allowed. I don't know why the big rallies are allowed. I don't know why anything's allowed. Especially where masks are not required, vaccinations aren't required. None of that is required. So let's just let the virus mutate some more, get stronger, and, what then? See. So when I drew today's rune, it was Tiwaz again, and then the geomancy rune again was poor, scattered little boy energy. We need to gather our wits about us, and we need to speak truth to power, and we need to not let the lack of impulse control of these people get in the way of protecting our children. So that's the overarching idea behind today's reading. I let the runes set the tone, and then the cards basically give the nuts and bolts of it all, give the give the details basically of it. How's that going to all play out? And the first three cards I draw are general influence cards. With the third card, it's actually five cards that I draw, but the third card, if there was an outcome, a final focus that you need to get to, it doesn't mean that it's going to be found with the third card, but typically that's what the third card ultimately is. So today we'll start with the Hermit, ninth card of the major arcana. Nines are about endings and completion and spirituality and generosity, but here we have the Hermit, in this case, getting away from everything. He's up on a mountaintop. He's getting higher, isn't he? Aligns well with Tiwaz. Getting up above everything and seeing the bigger picture. It's about retreat, withdrawal from the chaos so that you can see things clearly. You see him, and because that he's got that staff that's almost perfectly aligned here. I mean, it kind of angles a little bit, forward because he's looking down, isn't he? He's looking down on creation. But he's holding a lantern there, and look at the light inside. It's the Merkaba. And what is that? The Merkaba is our soul vehicle. You can do a meditation with a Merkaba where you visualize that, a crystalline Merkaba, and then push your consciousness into the center of it. And you can either use it as a meditation chamber, or you can use it to travel about, right? Well, I say that like everybody knows that, right? Of course. Anyway, but it's literally the light of spirit informing his vision, accessing soul awareness to inspire his vision of what should be happening. But it's basically providing the basis for everything else. If you align in spirit, suddenly the ego is transmuted into spirit because you're not giving it attention anymore. You're not seeing life through that lens any longer. You're seeing it through the lens of spirit or source vision. Now, we move on to the moon. The 18th card of the major arcana reduces to 9 numerologically, and so you have an alignment then with the Hermit, don't you? At least numerology-wise. But the moon can be about a couple different things. It can be about rebirth. It can be about deception. It can be about balance. But it's dreams, emotions, cycles, rebirth, transformation, awakening, intuition, illusion, change, and again, deception. You know, there's an element in what's going on right now that some people in our country are deceiving themselves. They're deceiving themselves by believing a guy that was so jaded and so sadistic that he didn't care. He just lied. He just lied the whole way. All the information he gave. Finally, he just kept coming to the podium every day and you know, doing duck, talk, 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 right? I guess because he couldn't let Cuomo do it all, right? And then you saw what happened to Cuomo. But the bottom line here is that this guy lied to everybody. And the number of people that you've got now in positions of authority who are essentially continuing to implement that lie in terms of expectations now of our children? Oh, no. No. So what's needed is a rebirth, a reawakening. We see the dark and light, the brown and the white dogs there. That's the polarity within. You see the lobster coming up between them. We need a rebirth of that. We need a regeneration of that. A reawakening to what the truth is in a more balanced fashion. So, but when we say balanced, we don't want an equal balance between spirit and ego. We want the ego to have to understand that if it wants any kind of presence at all, it has to elevate its own vibration to that of spirit. We are spirit inhabiting these bodies. We aren't supposed to devolve into chaos. We're supposed to experience what we do, learn from it, and come out whole, remembering that we're one, all of us together, right? When we see the other, we're looking at the other side of self. We're not looking at the other as in something apart from us. No. That individual is giving us a window into the various things that can happen in form that we all agreed to come here and experience, right? As individual points of light. Individual points of the Creator's aspect of self everywhere, right? Because the Creator is all that is. And if you believe that, then we're all one. Ooh. And the moon reminds us of that. The moon also reminds us that there's deception going on. So we have to be mindful of that. But there needs to be an end to that. With that 9 energy, we have to rise above all of that, see through the eyes of spirit, and become whole again. Right? Again, right, like everybody knows. And then finally, we come to the second card of the major arcana, and I want to talk a little bit about this. The High Priestess is a really interesting card. If you look at there, and I don't know what I've done with it. Again, I keep meaning to get it out. Unless it's on here. Maybe it's on here. Let me just look really quickly through this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No, that's not it. Oh, I've got it. Yay. Okay. Well, I don't know why that's not happening, but we'll just let that fall. Oh, I see why. There's a little post-it note thingy there, or there's a book on there that's preventing all of this from... And now I have a mess. So let's just set this all right here so it's not falling all over my feet. And I will show you what I'm talking about. So now, behind the High Priestess, we'll talk about her in a second. You see the drape behind. That is the Kabbalistic tree of life. And we have the High Priestess sits right here, actually. And the Magician is on this line, the Fool's on this line, the Empress is here, but the High Priestess sits behind this whole thing in the background as the unconscious realm. Okay, so it's actually part of the three above the abyss where we come down into form. The Empress gives birth to the world, and this is the line under which she does that. But the High Priestess is in the background, essentially bringing in the aspect of spirit. But this is a really cool deal. I created this one myself on the computer, but I got it, I believe, from Donald Craig's Modern Magic. I think that's where I got it. Or some other Hermetic book. But I just think that this is cool because it shows where the every line where the major arcana sits. But this is what's behind her. Okay? And I keep meaning to bring that out, but I couldn't find it. It was right here under my feet all along. Anyway, we've got the Pillars of Solomon, Yakim and Boaz. We've got, which I think is a doorway. In fact, I wonder if it was actually a physical portal. But anyway, we have a doorway to the unconsciousness here, to the unconscious realm. We see the High Priestess sitting with her foot on the maiden moon. We see the triple aspects up here. We're in the crone phase of the full moon today. But here's maiden, mother, and crone. Or if you look from her perspective, maiden, mother, and crone. But then what we're seeing here with the High Priestess is we're talking about dreams and change. It aligns well with the moon in that regard. But it's about allowing your... How should I say this? It's about intuition, but it's about divine inspiration and manifestation of that divine inspiration. It's inner wisdom, it's dreams, it's change, it's alignment. And we're manifesting what the Magician has done elementally to bring us into form. But this is the unconscious realm. You know, this is still the unconscious aspect of self, or the soul aspect of self, aligning together into what ultimately becomes the life force of the body. This is what connects into the nervous system. This is what connects into the pineal gland and the third eye. Becomes part of our DNA structure, if you will. And the unconscious, the subconscious, the soul, the higher self, whatever you want to call that, gets infused into the body. And that's and when you have three cards from the major arcana suggesting that we need to get above this all and ignore the deception that's going on and see things from the standpoint of source vision. And what is it we need to see? What are we all collectively worried about right now? We're worried about so many things, but I think most of us, if we've had children, we have grandchildren, whatever it is, we're worried. And we're freaked out about what's going on. And we want to protect the children now. Enough is enough. The ego's got to set aside now and not be a factor anymore. We have to come together, align together as the one energy that we are from the Creator, and say no. Say no to the lies, say no to the nonsense, speak truth to power. Say no to the lack of impulse control, and protect our children. Together, these three cards, again, give an 11 energy, 11 numerology. So we're looking at a master number for awakening and illumination. So that's why when I saw these three cards, I got all excited, because it's like, wow, could this be any more soul oriented? I don't think so. And given that, unless of course yesterday was a 22 day, that was the cosmic builder. That's a master number. The 22 is, so is 33. That's Christ consciousness. But yesterday we had a 22 energy. That's the cosmic builder. What are we gonna create? What are we gonna manifest? We're going to manifest a world for our children where they can grow and develop and not have to get sick because of stupid attitudes from the governors of states that can't understand truth, that for some reason are clinging to the former guy's criminality. What's going on there? They're harming the kids. That's what's going on. Why are the kids expendable? They're not. And that's where I think that we see this week. This started last week, but I think now you're going to see more people, school boards, school districts, parents, all of them standing up and saying, are you kidding me? We're not doing that. You want to fine us? You want to take away funding? Guess what? President of the United States has already said, yeah, funding does exist. We'll give it to them. You won't lose anything here. Protect your children. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask. Let's get control of this instead of letting people who can't understand truth control this. It's almost like they're doing the virus's bidding, right? How stupid is that, right? So I think that when you look at this 11 energy, this 11 numerology, this master number, awakening and illumination, that is the governing influence of these three cards together, I don't know how you can avoid looking at it that way. Now, the challenge card, again, and this is interesting because the challenge card actually ended up being our benefit card last week on Thursday, or on Monday, was our benefit, the Three of Cups. We drew this. And this was our benefit card. But right now, it's signaling harmony. One of the things it signals, victory, all of that. But now we're talking the water element, so emotions, compassion, empathy, intuition. Again, we're seeing intuition with all three cards here of the major arcana: the Hermit, the Moon, the High Priestess. In other words, we know what the truth is. We know we have to protect our kids. People have gotten caught up in this lie. They need to let it go. They need to choose a new path, like we see with the Moon. They need to allow a rebirth of sorts, choose a new path, choose a new direction, make a different decision, one that protects the children. And the challenge is going to be doing that. Can we come together in harmony enough to do this? Or is it going to take some kind of imposed kind of thing to make this happen? Because realistically, it shouldn't. The challenge is to come together in shared purpose. That's the challenge. It was the benefit last week, but it's really the challenge, isn't it? To let go of whatever you were thinking and come together so that we can be successful. That's going to be a challenge for some people. But when we do, also from the Suit of Cups, water element, look at his helmet on the Knight of Cups. Now, that is the winged sun. That's Mercury. That's healing on this moon day. But it's apropos because it's also the crone phase of the full moon. And this is grandma saying, and grandpa saying, you're not doing this to our grandchildren. So it's not just parents, it's grandparents that are becoming so outraged by what we've seen. I remember the who was it? The what's his name? Patrick, the lieutenant governor of Texas. Remember last year when he's saying, oh yeah, grandma needs to die for the Tao? Well, okay, I can have a potty mouth. If you've been on Twitter, you know that. I'm not afraid of saying certain words. And I said them. It's like, are you kidding? And expletive. And I don't do the symbols. I just say them. So anyway, look back, you'll see. I try not to do that very much, but when it's so offensive, then it comes out. But that's where I think we are right now, and we've just had enough. We've just had enough. There was another little nonsense happening in Portland where you had these people all coming together to fight one another again. Police just didn't even go, and it's like, well, I got a problem with you not going, but I understand on one level, but ultimately it's dereliction of duty, so I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't think, I can't believe the mayor is taking the position he's taking, but I don't understand Portland anymore. All right, I lived there for a long time, graduated from Portland State, and I lived down there for a year when I was in college. I don't understand Portland now, and I don't, and it's not the all of Portland. Portland's still Portland. It's just you've got this stuff that's going on, and the local government is not doing what they should. And people are getting harmed, and it's our people, because the ones that are harming are coming from out of state. All right. I don't know what's going on there, and I just wish it would stop. And I wish that the government there, the local government, would have the wherewithal to do that. But I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. No one else knows what they're doing either, so I don't know. Maybe the thing is, just don't go. When they're planning a rally, just don't go. Don't go fight them. Don't go be there. Just don't go. Don't give them any attention at all. What would happen? Would they escalate? Would the police then have to get involved? It's that kind of nonsense going on. Are we able, though, if we come together, are we able to offer healing to others? Or are we going to offer something else? See? That would be the benefit. If we can offer healing and love and shared purpose and empathy and compassion, if we can go there, that's our benefit, right? That's to our advantage. And who wins the most? Our kids. So I don't know. I think right now we're in a really serious situation. Oregon is requiring masks in schools. Oregon, the universities are. They've got COVID policies. You won't be able to go there. You won't come in if you don't, and I think that they're requiring vaccinations as well. I know that the governor has required this by, I don't know. Well, now Pfizer has done their approval. They've gotten approval. So maybe that date when it has to be done by will be sooner. But I would have hoped that this should have been required, that they should have at least been in the shot process, ready to get their second shot if they haven't had it, even if it's shortly after school started. But to say, oh, well, October, no, that's not soon enough, hon. It's just not. We've got to have this in place before our kiddos go back to school. If you want to delay school opening, well, okay. But I want the staff all vaccinated. I want everybody in masks. I want our children protected. And that's just what I want. And I know other parents and grandparents want the same. So this may alter a little bit, but at minimum, at least if the kids are in masks while this process is going on. I don't know what this approval means in terms of kids under the age of 12 getting the vaccination. I haven't read the article yet to know what the Pfizer and the FDA approval of it really means in terms of the kids. Is it just okay for everyone now? I don't know. We need to find that out. So if anyone has read the article, you want to leave it in the comments, leave it. I'm going to go look for it as soon as I'm done here while I'm listening to the video. Unfortunately, I didn't say it was 2020. It's now 2021. Oh my goodness. And we're still dealing with this crap. So, and now, with the Delta variant, this is way more contagious. I still see people wearing the mask down by the nose. Where do you think it goes in at? It goes in the nose. That's where the virus enters. And it's 12,000 times more powerful now, I guess, or the viral load is. And it happens right now. And so the distancing isn't effective anymore. It's way more contagious. So if you're around people that aren't vaxxed, well, I don't know. They could be carrying it and they don't know it yet. You're contagious. You spread it before maybe you feel the symptoms. And so We have to understand the true nature of it so that we can understand the effect that we have when we don't follow protocols and we don't get vaccinated. So again, the information is there. Just listen, read it, know it, absorb it, incorporate it into your choices. And maybe we can get a handle on this. But winter is just like around the corner. This was the dumbest thing we could have done. And now to try to, for these states to try to harm our children, that's where I think the Tiwaz energy is going to come in. And I think that we're not going to let that happen. So anyway, let's talk again Thursday and see where this takes us. Maybe we'll start to see some information where it suggests maybe some other factors are going to come into play to stop what's happening, to stop the harm before it gets any worse. So but we'll see what it has to say. So thanks for watching, and if you're of the magical persuasion, I do correspondences for magic Monday through Friday. Watch for that little video as well today. And the forecast, I have to do that here when I get done with this. That'll go up on the blog at Stepping Aside. All the links are below the video where I'm at and where you can find all this stuff. And sign up for the newsletter is also over on the blog on the left side panel up toward the top. Just put your email address in there and you'll get the esoteric influences in your inbox on Saturday night, so you get them ahead of everybody else. And so I guess that's it. We'll talk again for somewhat daily tarot and rune on Thursday, and look forward to esoteric influences on Sunday. So thanks so much and have a good day. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.